Welcome to Discover Janesville. My name is Yuri Rashkin. This program is underwritten by Alliant Energy, and it is centered on future leaders of Janesville. We are here today, guests at Best Events, and I'd like to thank Best Events for all the wonderful food and goodies that they have provided for us. My next guest is Sam Liebert. Sam, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
You are originally from Janesville, and then you went to D.C. because you got involved in all sorts of politics, went to D.C., and now you're back. Can you talk a little bit about the journey of how you got involved in politics in the first place and how you're back at now?
Well, it's kind of been a long journey. I originally got involved in politics actually in high school. I graduated from Parker in 2003. And believe it or not, I was actually a Republican back then. I was part of the Republican club at Parker High School.
That does not match your current bumper sticker.
It does not match the bumper sticker on my car, no. But that's kind of how I got my start originally. And with the 2004 election, I was a volunteer for John Kerry, so obviously there was a switch in there. It just, as it progressed, the 2006 campaign came along. I was in college at the time, got involved with College Democrats. I was the president of the club there, which kind of enabled me to travel around the country and represent our school and state at different conferences, different conventions. And that allowed me to kind of network, which eventually led up to the Obama campaign. I worked for the Obama campaign for 21 months, traveling the country, starting in the Iowa caucuses, ending in the Florida general election. And then eventually I was offered a position with the administration for the White House at the Department of Agriculture, working for the secretary. And I was out there for a year, and I finally decided to come back due to some personal family issues, but also mainly to I haven't completed my bachelor's degree. So that's a big part of being, working for the government and preaching education and not having a degree yourself. I didn't want to be a hypocrite, and plus it's important to have your degree to
DC is a very competitive environment.
It's very competitive. It's very cutthroat.
Right. It kind of struck me as always a kind of a type A personality kind of a place.
Exactly. So
you got to have your degrees in order.
Exactly, and having that degree, it's not just a piece of paper, but it's just it says that you have a basic, fundamental understanding of your specialty that you focus on. For me, is history, and also stating that you have the building blocks to be a successful citizen, a little above and beyond, obviously past high school or an associate's degree, and so hopefully I'll be wrapping that up soon in the next few years.
One of the things that has impressed me about you for a while is that on Facebook you have, I think, more friends than I have ever seen any other human being have. You have something like over 4,000 people that are in your network of friends.
Yes.
You just enjoy people connection, and how did that?
Well, it's kind of a funny.
What does it say about you?
What is it? Well, I'm not one of those guys that kind of sits in his mom's basement all day and just kind of stares at the computer. I make it a policy that I've always at least met or know the person before I accept a friend request or ask someone. But Facebook is one of those great tools that allows people to literally stay in touch and to network. One of the things that I learned working in politics and also in D.C. sometimes it's not always what you know, but sometimes who you know, someone who can give you.
Really?
Apparently, no one. My high school counselor never told me that. But it's one of those great social networking devices. Literally when people graduate high school and they would say, oh, let's keep in touch. Now you can. It's not going to be 5, 10, 20 years before you see someone and catch up. Now you can stay in touch with people. But also on the more the political side and socializing side, it's a great tool to spread ideas, to inform people of news events, things going on, and it's incredibly important, I believe, now in politics. I think that's a big reason, too, why President Obama won the election, because he was able to engage a certain niche set of people who network, whether it's Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, all these different sites, to reach out to people, because people become more and more busy. and they just want to check Facebook for 5 minutes, see what's going on, and then go about with their life. So
sure. The thing that's kind of interesting for me about somebody like yourself, several things. First of all, Janesville is not known for its diversity, and clearly you have, your mom is
she's white,
and your dad is African American.
Yes.
So that's already, I think, is a different take on growing up in Janesville.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, you're from Janesville, you grew up in Janesville, but then you went to all over the country and DC, and then you came back. So I'm kind of curious, what have you gained from these different experiences? How does Janesville look different to you now than maybe it did before, and maybe different than it looks to somebody else?
Well, there's the saying goes, there's no place like home, and I think that rings true with Janesville.
And you feel that Janesville's home?
If Janesville is home, I think it always has been and always will be, no matter where life takes me. It's Janesville is so many people always when I was growing up, like, oh, I can't wait to get out of Janesville was kind of the battle cry coming out of high school. And some people
battle
did
cry, let me out.
Exactly. But traveling the country, I've lived in Nevada, Colorado, Florida, Indiana, Mississippi, and I appreciate the chance I had to travel the country and see how diverse we are, but to also see kind of the threads of our country that make us one country, the United States, as one people.
It's not just McDonald's.
It's not just McDonald's that is the common thread. It is. It's much more than that. But Janesville and Wisconsin is my home. I lived on the East Coast for about 14, 15 months, and I made it a point to come back and to take what I've learned about community service, public service, government, and hopefully apply it here. I'd really love to start and raise a family here with Wisconsin and Midwest roots, and compared to East or West Coast.
I think it's very interesting for me to see somebody like yourself who doesn't fall into public service after doing other things, but sees public service as almost a primary occupation, or working for the people as your main interest and goal. How did that come about?
Public service is just, I think it's one of those career choices that I think you're influenced somehow in your life, whether it's through family or friends. And I think for me, it was probably my mother. She worked for the state, for the Department of Transportation for 20, 25 years. It drove her mad. It drove her to more gray hair, probably faster than your average person. But at the end of the day, she liked what she did. She said she got to work for the people. She got to interact with people every day. I mean, if you've ever been to the DMV, it can be a stressful situation. There's forms for all these different things. But she really enjoyed helping people kind of get through the bureaucratic red tape. And just whether they had to take a driving test or get their license, she enjoyed helping people. And so kind of growing up, I was able to go to work with her a lot and kind of see what she did, and that was kind of a driving force for me. And I think just with the 2004 election on a national level, kind of amplifying everything, that kind of all fed in, and also I think a little bit of my love of history. I'm a big history buff. I love reading about the Civil War and kind of that whole Victorian era of history. And so I think kind of all of that coming together.
Why is history interesting?
It's just, I think personally for myself too, I don't know one side of my family, my father's side. And so there's kind of that question of where do I come from? It's kind of always nagging me in the back of my mind. And so I think as a country, just kind of knowing where we came from, I think it helps us avoid future mistakes.